Hello, young scholars. My name is Rhonda Kitchens. I'm your librarian, and I'm going to talk to you about different things you can do to have a successful research assignment with your instructor, Matt Sullivan. This is what we're going to go over. I'm going to talk to you about a database. You're going to look at two. You may want to use just one or the other, but I'm going to show you two that are very awesome and can cover a lot of your work here at Big Bend Community College and when you leave. I'm going to talk a little bit about CRAP. That's right, CRAP, C-R-A-A-P, and its relationship to research and search. I'm going to talk about keywords, truncations, phrase searching, and Boolean logic, also known as search strategy. And I'm going to talk to you about your favorite thing in the world, Google, but I want to take you to the next level of Google Advanced Search. It's not only going to help you do your research, it is going to help you research inside of humans in New York. It's actually a very dense website and not as easy to use as you'd love it to be. So we're going to make sure that we can take care of that for you. And let's talk about a database really fast. You use one every day. Netflix is a database. Hulu is a database. Pluto TV, also very hard to use, is a database. And databases kind of follow the same idea. They're a collection of different electronic documents. Some are video, print, magazines, journals, audio, all sorts of things, images, statistics, all sorts of wonders. More and more, many of them are all those things at once. And there's some overlap. Some things have the same thing, but you may choose one over the other. It may be that Netflix and Hulu have the same movie, but in my case, Netflix plays smoother on my TV, and Hulu kind of has a little bit of a skip to it. So, when you're using Gale, ProQuest, or EBSCO, or Ex Libris, our library catalog main database of our books that are actually in the library, and 20 of our databases at least, you'll be experiencing those same things. And that's why I'm going to show you Opposing Viewpoints and ProQuest. I could say that they're the most Netflix-like, easy to use, and wonderful and colorful. Now, the anatomy of a database is pretty simple. It's almost always going to have searches. It's going to have a purpose or focus in some cases. We have databases for health. We have them for psychology. In fact, for this project, you might want to look at some of those. We have some specific to business. We have things specific to family issues as well. If you can't find them, always reach out and ask your librarian. You can find the full text. Generally, in these things, you can use different keywords. You can find abstracts, just all sorts of things. These things are packed, like Netflix, with all sorts of goodness waiting for you to discover it. Now, to CRAP, and I'm just going to briefly go over this because it has something to do with how you select your keywords or make your search strategy. CRAP. C is for currency, accuracy, authority, relevancy, and purpose. I always forget the second A. So when you're doing your research, you can often select the date, something close, something further away, last 5 years, whatever you may need to find. Relevancy, does it actually have something to do with your problem or thesis statement? Or is it just random and just has the word in the title? Make sure it is relevant, up-to-date, or up-to-date historical. Make sure it's within the right date. Accuracy and authority. Accuracy. Is it right? Does it have a bunch of errors? Do the links not work? What's going on with it? Is it from a group that actually knows how to write about this topic, which leads us into authority? That's right. You can research the authors of the people who wrote your piece. You can actually research the title of the article, because sometimes when something gets withdrawn or ends up being a part of some huge kerfluffle, I like to say, you may not know about it. How would you know? So it's always good to look for the author and also search the title of your piece just in case there's some sort of scandal or some sort of awesome about it. Maybe it even won an award. Maybe it became a book or a movie. Who knows? And P, purpose. What is the purpose of your piece? Some purposes would be to convince you. And they will throw an emotional pill in your way. You might have some use of this in your research, or you may discard it and prefer to have something, say like a scholarly article, that talks to you about research that was done to verify or not verify a thesis statement. These are very strong, very different ways of looking at things. Both have changed how people view information. And finally, like, how do I know to even worry about these things? Hey, look at your rubrics. That's right, inside information. A lot of times when people are grading, when I say people, I mean your instructors, are grading in Canvas or other learning management systems, they've constructed a rubric, and that's how you're graded. So make sure if something asks for 5 articles or 2 newspaper articles, a magazine article, and a scholarly article, make sure your research fits that. And if it asks it to be the past 5 years or a scholarly article, fit your research, fit the things that you select to research accordingly. Make sure you follow the directions and stay in the guidelines so you can get all of those points. Now finally, I will tell you, I use these every single day. I am not lying. They are awesome. I want you to know about them. So, truncation. This is how you get more out of a search word. Sometimes it really is tight in the research thing. You just really can't find enough articles. Like, why? Sometimes it has to do with the tense or the suffixes that are in your word. Suppose you were looking for trauma. You see it stops right here. Now, things about trauma might also be under traumatic. Things about trauma may also be under traumatizing. Do you search this 3 different times? No. You truncate it. You put an asterisk right there. That's the thing that is shift over your 8. Trauma, traumatizing, traumatic. It will get all 3. Nurse. A lot of times when you're doing healthcare, you want to have all of these. So nurse, nursing, nursed. See how they all stop right here? So you'll start at the most common place, stop that is, and put that asterisk, and you'll make your research much better. Your search will improve. Now, phrase searching is making sure that you have a phrase searched together. Sometimes you may do a search, it says global warming. Global would be in the first sentence and warming could be in the last. To make sure they search together, put them in quotes. But make sure it's a sensical thing. I did have a student once who put for global warming in quotes gets hotter. Not sensical, not very substantive, and not likely. So make sure these are words that are used together that make sense in your research, like displaced workers. Maybe a one you would use, put it in quotes. If not, displaced could be in the title, workers could be in the last paragraph. So this is a great way to focus your search. Boolean searching uses and, or not. And if you look at my Venn diagram, I like to call it a librarian, but we know it's a Venn diagram. We will search something with and you're going to find where they're different. Suppose we're looking for unemployed workers. This will find unemployed workers, and your search results will be where unemployed workers would be. Now, if you want to call your workers employees or workers, and you want to search them both, you will use or. This is something you can use in ProQuest and Academic Search Complete very easily. Not is when you want to get rid of something. Suppose I was looking for workers and employees, but not bosses or not supervisors. I would take that out of my search, and it would make it much better, much clearer, because you don't need 50,000 search results. You probably need a good 20 at this point. Okay, so what we're going to look at will be Google search, and I'm going to show you Google Advanced, and I'm going to show you how to keyword search Humans of New York, because that's a really important part of your project. I went to the page and it does have a search, and it may be in process, they may be building it, so I'm going to help you try to get to the pieces that you'd like to get to. Then I'm going to show you opposing viewpoints and ProQuest. So we're going to now jump into the wonderful world of the library. If you're looking at this on the special page I created for your class, you can find the direct links to the left of this video. But before we get to the video, let's look at Humans of New York. Do you notice something that's missing? And you might go over this a few different ways, and you can go through the about, the countries, the series. And in a way, if you find a little bit of struggle, there's a reason that it doesn't have a search. How are you going to be able to search this? Well, there is a way to do this. I just went up and I copied the URL up in the browser, right up here. So I'm going to take this into something, and we're going to go look at Google search. Now, I'm going to type in Google Advanced Search as a search, because it's actually hard to find. You actually have to do a search to get to it, and I'd rather just get straight to it. So here it is, almost. So here it is right here. Do you know some of the things I was talking about? Keywords and using and or not and different things. What's really great about Google Advanced, it shows you how to use that and translate it into Googleese. Put exact words in quote. Rat terrier. I just said the same thing, but about displaced workers. Also, type the important words. That's the way of looking at your search piece and finding the words that have something to do with it. Suppose you're looking for something in terms of homelessness in New York, homelessness in Nigeria, street art, something like that you found in Humans in New York. I'm going to look for happiness. Now, you could just search this way in general and not do what I'm about to do and just use all these. What this does, and it's really quite wonderful, is it takes you out of your search bubble. Do you know that most people never get past their first, like when I say most, I'm saying 97% don't get past the first page of Google search results. Now, when you're doing research, that's really bad. That means many of you may be using the same articles over and over for the same thing and never finding all the richness that's available to you in the deep web and other places. Yes, you absolutely want to go there. Now, when I use the word happiness, I could truncate it. That actually does work on Google. I'm just going to put happiness right now. Another thing you can do is restrict it to a site or domain. As you can see in the past, I've used .gov, that's a government site, .org. That helps you sometimes find associations. Those associations can have wonderful things they're doing or not so wonderful. A 501(c) is what gets you a .org, but at least you should be able to find some idea what they're doing and why, some credibility or lack thereof. .edu, sometimes we'll find you some great data and other information that's buried on university websites. Many places now have digital commons, but this is how I'm going to use it here. I'm going to put search inside of Humans of New York for happiness. So you could find a search term, a social issue, an idea, a color, whatever. If you can't find what you need on that website, do this. And then if you just want to do a regular search on happiness, you could come here and look for .orgs, .govs, or just add different things here and follow the directions on the right. It's going to enhance your search. It's going to strip out a lot of the ads and junk. See, right at the top, you're already missing the ads and the junk. A lot of these may go to single paragraphs or brevity. You can see here I'm finding things on happiness. This talks about how they dated in high school and they got back together. And it has a little story there. Let's see, I'm going to go to the next page. I almost feel like now I need to go to the next page because I feel that the next pages need to be discovered. Here's something on Bill Cunningham. He's a gentleman riding his bicycle. Happiness and a bicycle. I'm just being quiet here for a second, reading about his photographs. I hope you don't mind. True joy seems to subside with age. Is that true? Is there happiness in every stage of life? The giddiness of riding a bike? I'm saying this because joy, giddiness, youthfulness, aged, all these things. What creates happiness? Is it more difficult at different life stages? All these things are ideas and keywords that you might want to take in your exploratory research. It'll give you some different ideas. So I hope that helped you be able to find something not only inside of Humans of New York. I showed you how to do an inside the site search, which should be very valuable to you in the future. But also, it's a better way to search Google. It helps you elude many of the ads, many of the sponsored pieces, a lot of the junk that you may not need to be using. Like sometimes, while Wikipedia has lots of good things about it, oftentimes you'll find that you're asked to exclude it in your rubric or assignment. This helps you find some of the things in the gorgeousness you may not find otherwise. So I advise you to Google better. Google Advanced. There's actually a link to the library in Canvas. It's on the left-hand side toward the bottom of the list of different options you have in that area. But sometimes you might come through the main website. You'll go to academics. It jumps around a little bit. Go to library, and here you are. I would like you to go ahead and bookmark that. See that? But what we're going to do is go to opposing viewpoints. We're working on happiness. And you're doing an exploratory piece on all sorts of things. So I am going to go first to opposing viewpoints. Right up front, opposing viewpoints may not be the best database, but I'm also have Google Advanced, and I also have ProQuest. To sign in, one of the places people make the most mistake is they include this acbidbin.edu. Do not do that. Do this. And you should have total happiness. If not, reach out to us. Now, we're going into a very big, lush database. It's good for a lot of topical things that might have a pro and con to it. So if your Humans of New York topic has an argument or something, or comes up in legislation or politics, it might have more articles in there. But you can see as I type, it helps me out. I'm going to go with this. So it's just looking for happiness. It may be in the abstract, the title, or part of the article. The way that opposing viewpoint sets things up, everything is going to be full text. I didn't have to select for it. And it's going to break it apart in biographies, news story, viewpoints. Viewpoints are often those emotional appeals that are so often can change what we do. But it also has journal articles. For this particular topic, it didn't come up. I should have used something else. References are usually definitions. Primary sources can be sometimes like diaries and other interviews, videos, magazines, and images. So I might just stay here. It actually defaulted to academic journals, and here I am. Happiness around the world, life satisfaction and happiness and patience, the good and bad and ugly with COVID. Let's talk about happiness and communicable diseases. Happy without money? Is that possible? This might be an awesome piece. When you come here, click on the title. It will take you to the article. And you'll be able to read it in full text. A thing to know about this is when you're doing your citations, make sure you use this, but follow the rule, copy and correct. It's not always right, but it usually has all the pieces to it, if you know what I mean. The authors, etc. So copy, but correct. I'm trying to move this over to the left, and it is having none of it. There's too many things going on the screen. But up here, you can find that. You can also download and print it if you would like to do so. So use the citation suggester, I like to call it, because copy and correct. Now, what I also could have done was happy. And we'll see a lot more things that came up under that. We have more videos, more sources, because now we're getting happiness, and then we have some different things. Look, now we see something like life satisfaction. That would be something I would add to my keyword bucket. Satisfaction, life satisfaction, joy, things like that. Oh, and there's a really good article here. I have to show it to you. Finding signs of happiness in chickens could help us understand their lives in captivity. Both touching and sad. And it's an article you could find in opposing viewpoints. So, I hope this helped you out. If you do need to filter your results in this particular database, it's over here on the right-hand side, including the publication date, if you have a topic that may be time sensitive. So, opposing viewpoints, full text, ready to go, has all types of sources and formats ready for your use, including videos, statistics, scholarly articles, and more. So now, let's go to the super big ProQuest. So I'm here in databases A to Z. I'm going to go to P for ProQuest. I'm going to go down a little bit further, and here it is. I actually have video here if you forget how to use it. Here we go. I do try to put some little help in the edges under things. So, this is the advanced search. You have and or not. You don't have to type it up like happiness or joy. You could just go happy or joy, and now it will search for each, and I can keep adding rows and growing my search if I want to. Here's very important to select for full text. If you want peer-reviewed or scholarly, you can do so. You can also select dates, but I like to just kind of jump in there. And I'm going to put in here age. And I'm going to put, age. And I'm going to go up here and truncate this. And I will now go to the search. This has 36,000 million. Anyway, it's a really big number. These results are ridiculous. But it's great to see that they're there. You probably don't want the books. You may not want newspapers or this. You may go, hey, I just want something readable, maybe a secondary piece. Why don't I just look at magazines? And this will change our search a little bit. See, it diminished. Hope and Joy. It has quite a few joys. It's talking about toys, parenting, and other things. So clearly, while you can kind of use this search to go around and do your exploratory piece, it might need more to it. Hobbies. The gentleman liked to do photography and bike. Those are hobbies. And here's an article in a magazine about the therapeutic value of hobbies. You don't paint for money. The joy is in the doing. And all sorts of other articles are here for you. You can also decide, I want something scientific. I'd like something perhaps that's psychological in content. Then you would go here, select scholarly journals, peer-reviewed and full text. There's not so many here. But this talks about hobbies and the purpose of life, mortality. Oh, these are nice. Nice. So there's all sorts of little things you could pick from if you were working with it. And you're like, hey, this is like not specific enough. And then you go, hey, is there something about bicycles in here? I could probably put something. And as it turns out, yes, you can get that granular. You can find about joy and happiness, age, and bicycles, and ProQuest. These are full text. When you select them to be full text, you would go into this wonderful qualitative study of older people's experiences, which would have something to do absolutely with that particular piece. They don't always line up like that one, but this one did. When it does, I have to say the research is such a joy. So generally speaking, you'll be looking for the full text because that's going to give you the article as it appeared. So you'll see the tables, graphs, and all the other information. And this is the Netflix-like lovely thing about ProQuest. If you love this article, then you may love these as well. If you're still looking for keywords, it has a bunch listed here on the bottom. And if you want to cite it, again, look at the little quotation marks. The rule is to copy and correct it, but at least we'll have many of the main points there. And always, if you're having any sort of problem with research, ask your librarian. We love to hear about your questions, your need help with keywords. You can't really find something in the database you're trying to search. Are you can't find something in the New York stories of humans? Are you confused, panicked, lost? Do you just want to talk to me about your research and show me what you found? Hey, I'm your librarian. I'm Rhonda K. at bigbend.edu. I would be glad to set up a Zoom appointment with you, review the things that you found, suggest anything else. I am here at your service. Also on the library and other areas, if you need help with your writing, please use the writing service. The library and the writing center are both two of the wonderful services that you have here for your success, and we'd be glad to help you out. I'm always ready for your questions, and if you just want to show me some fun things you found, I actually like to hear about that too. Have a great day and a fantastic project.